Do you like punching demons in the face? Do you like blowing stuff up? Do you like feeling like a total badass? Then I have the game for you. The Doom franchise is a classic, the first Doom coming out in 1993 and being one of the most popular early first-person shooters. Doom 2016 is a reboot, while Doom 3 went for horror. Doom 2016 has instead gone for nothing more than constant action. And it is fun. So much fun. It's a game where everything just works together. The gameplay, enemy design, art style, soundtrack, everything just works. And that soundtrack. I think I've spent more time listening to the soundtrack than I have playing the game. Let's start by talking about the gameplay. This game is an old school shooter. This means it has no reloading, you can carry every gun at once, you move around fast, shoot fast, and enemies come from everywhere, fast. It is a game where the designers aimed for fun first, and just forgot about realism. Since it has a cheesy storyline about being a superpowered, constantly angry demon killer, fighting on Mars and then going into hell to kick ass, the focus on fun over realism kinda works. In the beginning of the game, the weapons you have are rather standard. A shotgun, machine gun, and your fists. Over time, you get new weapons. Some of these are so strong, you end up feeling like a walking killing machine. But as your weapons get stronger, so do your enemies. Not only do they get stronger, but the game also throws in more and more of them at you. At the end, you are just mowing down hordes of demons, and it couldn't be more fun. The early enemies are quite simple. You got your zombies, zombies with guns, zombies with explosives, and the first demon that you encounter, the Imp. I love the Imp. Despite being one of the first enemies, these guys set the stage for how well polished and designed the enemies are. They climb up walls, run around, sometimes come in to attack you with their fists. All their animations are fluid, and they really feel like a proper foe that you're having to fight against. All the enemies match this high quality, and they all just feel right. The later ones being large, powerful and intimidating, but still having the same polish and quality in the animations and sound design. This game also has some awesome boss fights. I don't want to talk about this too much, since I feel it's a massive spoiler and you really should play this game. But I'm just going to say that they are here, and they are fun. The game feels its most flat at the beginning, and then about halfway through it just gets crazy. If you can make it halfway through the game in one sitting, the chances are you're going to keep on playing until the end. At least, that's what I did. Twice. It's funny to describe, but you end up entering this zen-like state while playing this game. Funny, because it's probably the least zen game ever. It's hardly zen to rip a demon's head in two. It's like it's perfectly designed to get you to enter into that flow state thing I keep seeing everywhere in self-help advice.
Flow.
Maybe this is what makes the game so insanely fun. That and guns, of course. In terms of level design, it's an arena shooter. There are some quieter moments of just moving through corridors, but most of it is action. You enter an open area, and the metal soundtrack kicks in, and you just know some stuff is going to go down. Some of these areas are also pretty big. During one fight, I ended up finding an entire area underneath I had no idea even existed, until I had almost killed all the enemies. It seemed like a cool area to fight in too. Where the game succeeds best is in making you feel like a total badass. I can't think of another game that has this much of a power trip. I think the game managed this through a combination of fantastic animation and sound design that makes everything feel meaty and kinetic. I mean, look at some of this stuff. The graphics are also beautiful. It's obvious a lot of effort went into making this game look good, and it definitely pays off. The levels on Mars and the levels in Hell feel sufficiently different from each other. However, while there are some variations between the levels, I felt that the levels on Mars all kind of felt the same. This feeling is even stronger when comparing all the Hell levels. When I say they all feel kind of the same, I'm talking primarily about the tile sets. The design of the levels vary greatly, and they all feel like a different experience. But whenever you're on Mars, you're going to be primarily walking around silver-walled corridors. And whenever you're in Hell, you're going to be walking around beige ones. You don't feel like you've been on a huge journey the way that you do when playing a game like Half-Life 2. But I wouldn't hold this against the designers. The levels are based on Mars and in Hell. Quite desolate locations. This also feels like a really petty complaint when looking at just how awesomely fun the gameplay is. Talking about gameplay, the most genius design choice is the glory kills. These are awesome. It's something new to the Doom franchise, but now I miss them whenever I'm playing a different FPS. The way they work is that you have to reduce an enemy's health to a point where they are then stunned. If you perform a melee attack on them, then it performs an animation where you just completely destroy them. After this, you get a small health and ammo drop. It can have a downside, as you are stopped in place for a while during the animation, so enemies can group up on you. However, the animations are quick and brutal enough that they fit amazingly well into the fast and furious flow of the gameplay. The game also plays different death animations depending on how you died. That's got to hurt. I'm going to talk a bit about the story, so I'm going to put a spoiler warning here. But I will say that the story is definitely not the main focus of this game, but it does embrace the cheese to a highly enjoyable level. For anyone who doesn't want to know anything about the story, then skip to here. The basics is that you are found in Hell. You've been locked away and are a superhuman killing machine. So insanely badass that even the denizens of Hell are afraid of you. You are released by a robot man, so you can unleash your unending hatred upon the demons who are invading Mars. You also try to save humanity in the process. You do this by painting the place red. Well, the place is already pretty red. You just paint it redder. There's also some crazy lady who worships the devil that starts the demon invasion. The reason the scientists are interested in Hell is for draining energy out of it, using Hell to solve a global energy crisis. Quite poetic. Also the classic evil corporation reason of trying to turn the demons into weapons. It's pretty standard stuff. You can see why I call it glorious cheese, but I really enjoy the tongue-in-cheek approach that developers have taken. I enjoyed this Doom infinitely more than Doom 3. A game that tried to bring in horror elements, and I felt took itself a bit too seriously. No worries about that here. Why be afraid of something when you can punch its head off? There is more to the story than I expected, and like other modern games there are lots of little information logs you can find around the different levels to learn more. I took a break several times to just read through them. There's a lot of stuff here. For example, did you know that the Barons of Hell are the current royal guard for the unknown Dark Lord of the Fourth Age? I have no idea what that means, but it definitely sounds cool. Talking about other things this game does in a modern way, there are many different collectibles, many of which you can use to upgrade your character. One of the things I did find funny was how aggressive your character is towards the various inanimate objects you find during the game. You are one seriously angry dude. The upgrade system is much closer to a game such as Bioshock than Skyrim, this game being a first-person shooter primarily, but it seems they couldn't help put in some progression system. You can upgrade your health, armor and ammo capacity, as well as various aspects of your suit that range from allowing you to take less self-damage when using explosive weapons, to being able to swap between weapons faster. You can also upgrade your weapons to make them more powerful, turning you into a serious killing machine late game. These range from adding a grenade launcher to your shotgun, all the way to turning the chain gun into a mini turret. Rather than using an experience system, these upgrade points need to be found and collected from the various levels. Once you have your relevant upgrade point, you can put it towards anything you want, allowing you to customize your playstyle, focusing on your favorite weapons. Not only does this encourage exploration of the different levels to find secret areas filled with loot, it also gives a reason to go back to the campaign and play through levels again to find stuff you might have missed. It's a good system that provides some feeling of progression while not detracting from the classic old school shooter mechanics, and I feel it integrated itself very well into the experience. There are also runes, powerful abilities that you can equip to change your playstyle, only being able to equip a limited number at a time. You also have to complete little mini-games to unlock them, which I enjoyed more than I thought I should. Some of them are jumping challenges, while others require you to kill a certain number of enemies in a particular way. For example, by exploding barrels. Most of them have time limits, and a few took me a couple of tries before I got the hang of them. But they were fun enough little mini-games, and helped to give a little break from the run and gun gameplay. As well as the usual gun weapons and the glory kills, the game also has 2 more mechanics that allow you to stay in the fight and have a backup when things get a bit too hairy. These are the chainsaw and the BFG. Both of these are so awesome, I needed to give each of them a montage. Chainsaw is a smart way of allowing you to recharge your ammo stocks when depleted, without disrupting the furious pace of the gameplay. You can cut through an enemy instantly, and they then drop a large amount of ammo you can pick up. It can also be useful for insta-killing powerful enemy, although this does use more charges. The second is the BFG. This thing is just awesome. It fires a single insanely powerful shot that just destroys everything. It is a brilliant last resort weapon you can bring out when things start turning bad, getting you out of sticky situations with a beautiful green explosion. I also loved that some of the collectibles allowed you to play through old Doom levels, filled with modern weapons and enemies, giving a whole load of new content for anyone who wants to explore it. Talking about tons of new content, the campaign, while I feel being the highlight of the game and an incredible experience, is only one part. It also features a multiplayer mode and something called Snap Map, which allowed the community to make levels of their own. Anyone who's been around the gaming community for a while will know that, when you give gamers the tools to fiddle around with a game, the results are often either good or really bad. Snap Map continues this time-honoured tradition. There are some very enjoyable creations in here, but there are also many of which are not that great. Even the good ones are obviously not up to the same quality as the campaign, but there are some inspired ideas here, and it's impressive what some people have been able to do with the tools available. It's worth checking out some of the highest voted maps. Some of them are genuinely great fun. I feel that many of the people who have played Doom have never even touched it, and that seems like a big shame. This level even has a little demon helper dude called Kane. I like this guy. The multiplayer feels like a completely different experience. For a start, you can only carry 2 guns at once. I think there are glory kills, but they seem to happen much more rarely. Where's the kick-ass soundtrack? There's no music at all. It all feels more like Halo than the single-player badassery. Though there is the addition of being able to turn into a demon, which is cool. The whole experience is just weird. The weirdest part is that some of the multiplayer levels are beautiful and use tile sets that are never seen during the single player. I mean, look at this place. It's weird, but I like it. Was there supposed to be an area like this in the campaign? Or was it made just for the multiplayer? They have definitely put a lot of effort into its design. Maybe I'm being too harsh. The multiplayer is okay. Sure, it was fun. Not an unpleasant experience. But it was a bit bland. Nothing stuck out to me that would give me a reason to play this over anything else. Unlike the single player campaign, which is one of my favourite gaming experiences in years. There are some interesting game modes. I like Warpath, which is an area capture mode, except the area you have to capture keeps moving around the map, so you have to keep chasing it. The way the demons work is that there is a demon power-up on the map. When you get this power-up, you can transform into a demon. If you get killed, the power-up gets dropped, and an enemy can claim it. It's a cool system, and the player as the demon will often end up being the centre of the fight, either kicking ass or having everyone gunning for them. So the demon swaps teams, and then the other team's demon can kick ass. What I don't understand is why this game didn't go for a co-op wave survival mode with the enemies from the single player. It would be perfect. You can find some levels like this in the Snap map, but you'll need to bring some friends, since the chances of finding strangers playing the same Snap maps as you at the same time is almost zero. It feels like a massive wasted opportunity, but with the announcement of Doom Eternal, who knows what the developers are planning? Hopefully a co-op horde mode. One can dream. I may have also gotten a bit excited when Doom Eternal was announced. Sticking with the fun over realism angle, a big patch brought in an entirely new way to play through the campaign. That is the arcade mode. This game mode is just pure fun. You have all your weapons unlocked, and the aim is just to get the highest score you can. Just cut your way through the demon hordes in the most glorious fashion you can think of, and get rewarded with lots of points. It's beautiful. Although all the flashing lights, sounds, and numbers popping up everywhere can be a bit of a turn-off, and does pull you out of the experience a bit. It does really feel like you're playing in an arcade, with all the good and the bad. You might think, with me talking about how much of a badass the game makes you feel, that the game is too easy. This is not the case. The game has a wide selection of difficulty levels. The later ones are hard. A few enemy hits, and you're going to be going down for the count, so it's important to keep moving. The hardest difficulty also has it so that you only have one life. Once you die, that's it. Campaign gone. It has little marks on the ground to show you where other players have died, and also where you have died in the past. It's a fun experience if you like raging. The people who complete it either have some serious skills or some serious patience. Probably both. Anyone who has played the game will know that my death symbol there was in the very first area. I didn't make it very far that time, although I did make it a bit further the next time.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
All in all, I will say that this is my favourite first-person shooter to have come out in years. I bought it after a long time playing strategy games, and I just wanted to turn my mind off and blow stuff up. It provided me exactly what I was looking for, and blew away my expectations. What also blows me away is its low price. This is an AAA game, and it is definitely not AAA price. If this game is ever on sale, then definitely pick it up. But I would recommend it at full price for anyone who is interested in an old school arena shooter. Did I also mention you can punch demons' heads off? I'm seriously excited about Doom Eternal, and I will probably be playing through the Doom campaign a couple more times before it comes out. I've completed it 3 times already, and 2 of those times was in a single sitting. I will most definitely be doing a review of it when it comes out. If you managed to make it all the way to the end of the video, then thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time.